it opened up legends, and not just legends, it opened up some deep legends cuts.
May the Force.
The Force.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Welcome to Star Wars Uplink, your place for everything Star Wars gaming, the TV shows, and the movies. Each week, we dive deep into 2 Star Wars topics you need to know from the galaxy far, far away. As always, I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and I'm joined by Sydney Laurel. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Today, in this episode, we're going to be diving deep into all of the Easter eggs shown in Episode 4 of Star Wars Andor. We have a ton of deep cuts, as well as going over our review for Episode 4 of Andor. So, let's hop right in.
Just you reconsider playing that message for him.
Star Wars Andor. The best Star Wars thing I have ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get into that later on in the episode. First off, I want to dive deep into the deep cuts. Star Wars Andor has been famously known as no Easter eggs, or they never said no Easter eggs, but a lot of people took it as that. But they said no fan service. But I would like to say I think that is a lie because there was a whole lot of fan service. But subtle, very much in the background, blink and you'll miss it, kind of fan service. What the heck are we talking about? Our new favorite anti-hero guy, Big Stellan Skarsgård's character, he has a double life. And on Coruscant, my favorite planet, we see him put on this air of a collector. So his basically his Clark Kent of the Star Wars universe is
instead of the glasses, it's a wig.
He's got a wig. He's got this really awesome velvet, almost like pajama suit robe combo.
But you can tell it's fancy, so you can wear it out, sort of thing. Very
much like classic Emperor Palpatine being in like the politics inner circle type of outfit for sure. Like I could totally see big old Papa Palps wearing that.
Oh, yeah.
So we see him there. He dons on this persona of being a collector. So he's got a lot of cool stuff in the shop. Mon Mothma comes in looking for some cool things. And as we pass through, we see quite a bit. I want to start off with the most exciting, and that is the Sith Stalker armor. At least most exciting for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's some stuff that I'm excited about, but you go on.
Yeah, so we've got the Sith Stalker armor, and if you're not familiar with this is the armor type. It's a type of Sith group that was specifically trained as almost like Sith assassins. They also had armor that was like grafted onto their bones and very painfully put on to strengthen their abilities.
I don't know, that seems like it would be more of a hindrance and very inconvenient in many areas.
Maybe, but apparently it worked because they were the best of the best.
All right.
But why do we care about this? What the heck's a Sith Stalker armor got to do with a deep cut? This is a very similar armor worn by Starkiller or Galen Merrick from Star Wars The Force Unleashed. In the Sith ending, I'm trying to be careful with spoilers, but the game came out over 10 years ago.
Yeah, although I haven't played it. So.
Yeah, because this game you can play, you can get the good ending, you can get the bad ending, you can get the Sith ending, you can get the Jedi ending, blah, blah, blah. You have an option if you do get the Sith ending. You are grafted onto this armor, and it's got this really cool mask. This one, the one that's in the actual shop, though, has a series of spines out of the top of it.
Yeah, it looks a lot more formal, a lot more
like a priest
ceremonial
Sith Stalker,
or
almost.
whatever. Yeah.
When they want to get fancy, they put on the little spiky things. But in terms of everything else on the helmet itself, it looks exactly like the Sith Stalker armor that Starkiller has.
Yeah, the whole face and everything.
Yeah. Including the sides with a little weird roundness to it. Basically identical. The armor itself is different. It is very different from what is in the game. The game one almost has a point on the center, where this one is more of a full breastplate almost. So it is different in that aspect. But it got a lot of us thinking, is Starkiller going to be canon soon?
And even just the fact that it's a nod to a video game. Amazing.
And it's not the only nod to a video game.
No, it's true.
Because we get a lot of mention of a bunch of different things from video games. Most of them are planets, like the planet Gorman, or Gorman. This planet goes all the way back to Legends continuity, and this is from Den of Geek. It is featured in the games X-Wing and Star Wars Rebellion. And in the Disney canon, it is the home of the biggest massacre of the Imperial, where stormtroopers open fire on peaceful protesters of the planet.
Oof.
And in the episode, we actually hear Mon Mothma mention about the Empire closing trade routes to this planet, alluding to one of the biggest massacres that will happen in the galaxy involving stormtroopers.
That'd be interesting if it happens within this span, like if we hear any more about that.
Maybe not this one, but
Right.
probably in season 2, where we have that the next 4 years that are
Yeah.
going to be covered.
Yeah.
We'll probably get some mention of it, because it'll be interesting too to see how that affects one public perception of the Empire on all the planets that Cassian will probably be on, and how that affects the rebellion and what they actually get accomplished with them too.
Yeah.
The next one that I was really excited about was ricotta, not the cheese. The Rakatan Infinite Empire. No.
Yeah, the moment it was mentioned, you were like, what is this? Like, I don't even know. Like, he's like, okay, you gotta go look at the shore after this. I'm like, okay, I will.
It was a visceral reaction, because on our Star Wars Shorts channel, we covered it, and we've covered it a few times, but the Rakata were this alien race that was multiple millennia before the Skywalker saga takes place. This alien species developed the first hyperdrives. They developed a lot of the early technology, as well as pairing it with the Force. It was introduced in Knights of the Old Republic. Great game. They are one of the most awesome parts of Legends, I would say. Just be the whole idea of this infinite empire coming on over here. They eventually get taken out by some Sith uprisings and the Sith taking over. But the amount of technology that they created was unmatched. They created one of the biggest spaceships and most powerful ships in the galaxy, millennia before the Skywalker saga.
And they talk about them because of the little crystal, the kyber crystal, which I guessed right.
Yes.
I was like, wait, is that a kyber crystal? So yeah, Skarsgård guy. What is his name?
I just keep on
We always
calling
bring-
him Stellan,
Yeah, I know,
just
it's
because I think he's got a great name, but it's
always-
Luthen.
Luthen. Okay. Luthen is trying to last final ditch to convince. At this point, he's already convinced him.
He's
to
on the
stay.
ship on this basically Scottish Highlands planet of Star Wars.
Yeah, and he gives him the crystal.
And it's like, don't take anything less than, what, 200,000
I
credits?
say like 50,000.
50,000 credits. But it's worth 200.
Amazing. But it was kind of like a just in case sort of thing. Like
If you need it to survive, here
Right.
it is, but also I
want
it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those, again, they're doing these Easter eggs in such a great way because it's a blink and you'll miss it. Like, I know it, and obviously partner of Uplink, Dinko, I was talking to him in that morning about it, and he was like, there's something in the first 9 minutes that will change everything that you know about Star Wars, or it was basically a mind blow moment for him. And around that 10-minute mark, I was like, okay, what's it gonna be? Oh my gosh, it opened up Legends, and not just Legends, it opened up some deep Legends cuts. It opened up something that is going to change or possibly open up the floodgates on that content. Because the way that Disney's been working when it does bring something into canon, it brings a lot of the influences and a lot of the facts. It's not quite okay, once it's in canon, everything it's mentioned is in canon, but it's heavily inspired and almost treated as like Thrawn. Mm-hmm. The Thrawn books by Timothy Zahn, the original ones, aren't technically canon, but they're regarded as legends spoken about of Thrawn. So they may not be true, but people in the galaxy are talking about this story that has not yet taken place or may not have taken place. They're speaking as like this legend.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that because it feels real. Like it feels tangible. Like it makes you a part of Star Wars. It's not just like, I know a thing about Star Wars now. Like, it's like, oh no, we're in it now. Like we know the rumors going around sort of thing, like, or like what people are talking about. That's cool. I like that. I really like that.
Well, that's why Dave Filoni wanted, someone a part of the team of Rebels, wanted Starkiller to become canon, but felt that he was too powerful if they brought him in, which is true to a sense. But that's the whole point of it, was this anomaly of the Force in this child, and then the whole implications of him being a clone in the second one, possibly. There was a lot there that is very, very interesting. And I think with this opening of, again, going back to the Sith Stalker armor, there's a lot there that could really open the floodgates if they did make him canon. But I think there's a way that they could make him canon and also honor his past, but also update it and put it in more perspective. But he was like, he's supposed to be stronger than Darth Vader. He goes up against the Emperor in the first game, does pretty well against him. Like, he is pure, raw power that does not have the training yet to fully express himself. So that's the whole point of Starkiller, is this very powerful creature. This kid that was taken and saved from his Jedi upbringing, who ultimately goes and has a whole journey and salvation path of not wanting to be killed by the Empire, and the Emperor not quite liking him, but Darth Vader seeing him as a strong tool.
I love all the Rebels references and just in his whatever you call, I don't know, what is this,
this antique shop, slash like art museum, high end for sale. I don't know. As the Rebel professional on the podcast,
just because I've seen it once all the way through.
Do you want to go into some of the Rebel stuff that we got covered?
Well, first and foremost, there was the hands, which is really cool to see. It definitely doesn't seem like it's from the wall per se that we see it in Rebels, but it's definitely like, oh no, those are the hands of the three. What do they call them? Worlds between worlds.
Between worlds.
Yeah, I don't know if is that what they're called?
They are called, it's associated with the World Between Worlds. There's this really awesome arc in the Clone Wars where you have good, evil, and then the Father, who is the middle ground between these two forces. And in Rebels, season 4, apparently, which I have yet to watch, but I stopped on season 2 because I fell off. Well, it got so boring.
It did. I know. I would just put it on like the background. Yeah. Just to be like, okay.
So I wasn't able to get through it and to get to season 3 and 4 where all of the awesome stuff happens.
All the good stuff happens. Yeah. So Ezra winds his way down into this very heavily occupied area and to get to this wall to unlock this. I don't even remember why exactly they needed to, but it ends up unlocking the whole like between time trails and things. Anyway, that's how he rescues Ahsoka, all that. So yeah, but he ends up, so he has to like move these hands in the correct positions to be able to unlock it and get through the door. So yeah, really cool to see that. Yeah, and there's a mural that it's a big mural that you have to put everything in the right directions with. That mural is also the three
going to be in the Ahsoka series. They've already released some shots from the show, and it's got what's the Mandalorian lady's name? Sabine? Yeah. I think it's Sabine that's looking at it.
Oh. Why haven't I seen those? I need to see that.
I don't know. But we're already getting mentions of it now. Like they're setting it up in a way that's very subtle and only like true fans, basically people really obsessed with all the different parts and how they put together, are going to notice stuff like this. Another one, which I thought was pretty cool, was
Calicori.
Yes.
Yeah, really cool to see that just in a different form, because in Rebels we see
the poor man's Calicori.
Yeah, we see a very wooded kind of
it's like building blocks almost.
It looks very chunky, very very I wouldn't say cheap, but very earthy, very much like just what they had around.
What is this?
So this is like an ornamental representation of the family in the Twi'leks, right?
Yeah.
In the Twi'lek family, each person or each member of the family adds to it, and it represents the family as a whole.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like a family tree type thing where like grandma, whoever starts it, who knows the origin of it, but like whoever starts it has like this stick and then you keep on adding it. Mm-hmm. Or in this case, this is a very fancy one. It's made out of like metal or silver or some like precious metal type thing. But as it goes through each generation, something is added on to it.
Yeah. But yeah, the one in the show is very delicate and ornate and like metal worked and very, very impressive, but also very easy to miss because it's so thin. You're like,
Wait,
what's that?
It's again one of those blink and you'll miss it type things. Yep. We also get there's Mandalorian armor in it, which also just speaks to, we were watching Star Wars Explain, Alex's video on some of the stuff here, and he was just saying how it really adds to the weight of like the Mandalorian. Like season 1 when he walks in this full, freshly made Mandalorian Beskar armor, like just how impressive it is. It is so impressive that Luthen has a full complete set, which is probably worth millions of credits. Yeah. Just sitting there.
Yeah. Some Mandalorian really wants that real bad.
This is the way. He comes in, breaks into the shop, and is like, give me my armor. But yeah, like it's super cool to see that aspect of things, of like, this is another piece that just sets up the rest of Star Wars into this very hallowed thing almost. Like they really take and value and just really give it the weight it needs in terms of the broader universe, where like these people collect these iconic pieces just for the history and the galaxy for it, but we as Star Wars fans also can appreciate it in terms of like, oh my gosh, he's got one of those things that is this over here in this other show or movie. And then on that side of things, something that was super cool to see, and possibly the first time we've seen it in live action, were the Sith Holocrons, which I think is the first time we've seen it in action.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've seen Holocrons before in live action, I believe. But
have we? I don't think so.
We've seen where they were housed in the prequel trilogy, I think.
Yeah, but not one physically in use or anything, like not
again just... one of those blink and you'll miss it things. In the background they have the Sith and Jedi Holocrons.
Super cool,
which is awesome to see. I
absolutely missed it for sure. I missed all of this because I was just like into the story, going along, and then
it's super engaging to see both of these. I mean, Mon Mothma talking, and they're planning the downfall of the Empire and the beginning of the rebellion. Yeah. And then you're also trying to pay attention to that, and then you're also trying to pay attention to all of the crazy Easter eggs. There was a Wookiee ceremonial garb thing in the background.
And a horn.
From the Wookiees. There was one of the Naboo
Gungan
power shields. Yeah, Gungan shields.
Yeah, that was super cool.
So that there was that in the background too. And then just to kind of tie this off, some fun things is there were some Indiana Jones references. The 3 stones in the Temple of Doom were in the background. You barely see them. It's more of those like, I think those are what those are, because they're shown right after you see, tucked away in the corner, this carbonite square that holds a whip.
Oh.
So it holds Indiana Jones' whip, and this is not the first time we've seen Indiana Jones or Star Wars crossover like that. When Indy is opening up the Ark, you can see or discovering the Ark in one of the side poles that are supporting the ceiling. You can see it an R2-D2 and a C-3PO engraved in the background, and you can also see the Ark of the Covenant in, I think, Clone Wars or Rebels, one of the two. And you also see E.T., not necessarily Indiana Jones, but you see E.T. Species in Coruscant's senator room.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Senatorium, I think.
Nice.
You see that in there. So there's a lot of these crossovers from Steven Spielberg to George Lucas's world of Star Wars.
Nice.
So there's a lot of fun stuff there. Now, let's go over our review of Star Wars Andor, Episode 4, Aldhani. So we get the big payoff of episode 3. We see all these characters. Now we're getting to the payoff's payoff almost.
I guess, yeah.
Setting up the next story of, okay, what the heck's Cassian going to do? He took the ride with Luthen, obviously.
Yeah, duh.
What does this mean? And Luthen gives him a choice. I love how he's always got these choices. I see 3 options here. 1, I drop you off. You run. Change your name. Do whatever. 2, you come with me. We can really make a difference. Or 3, you can kill me and take the ship. Just straight up like, yeah, you have these options. One of them also includes killing me, but hey, that's what it is.
He knows what kind of a man he is.
Yeah, so he has a choice here. If you do come with me, we can make a real dent into this Empire stuff. We can really make a difference. We can take them and hurt them where it really hurts. The interesting thing is they land on this planet. Cassian has no idea what it is or where they're going or what the mission is. And this ragtag group of who knows what?
Nobody's.
Yeah, so there's these group of people who don't like the Empire are huddled on this Scottish Highlands-like planet, which was actually shot in the Scottish Highlands.
It's great. It's fantastic.
You have these
Love
weird alien sheep with multiple horns.
So good.
Very gritty. I also love the diversity. This is the most diverse group of people we've ever seen in Star Wars. When it was up there, I was like, we had paused it for a second, and I was like, this scene right here has the most diversity of all of Star Wars.
It's true.
Which is pretty awesome.
Humans.
Yeah, exactly. So we see these group of people very run down. They've been living on this place for months, it seems. One guy's been there for 6 years, 7 years, something like that.
Something.
They have a plan of taking down the Empire. And that plan includes Clem now, who is Cassian Andor. His fake name is Clem.
It's a horrible
name. You think you'd pick something better than Clem.
Ugh.
But
all right.
Yep.
You do you, bud.
It's was it days away? A week away, something like that.
It was like
super close. 5 days, 3 days, something like that.
I feel like 3 was in there.
Yeah. But every 3 years or something like that, this spring of asteroids goes up, and it's this like hallowed religious experience for the natives of the planet. But because of the Empire coming in, that's not a thing anymore, which is very interesting. But they want to time their attack of the Imperial.
They're like stealing the Imperial's wages,
as well as attacking their armory. There's the word I was looking for. That's the plan. And Cassian's like, this is a suicide mission. What have I got myself into?
And I like that, like when they give him like well, are you in? He's like, all right, let's do it.
Okay, fine, let's do it. Yeah. So there's so much here that's like setting up this second arc of the show.
Yeah.
So they have the first 3 episodes, which is its own kind of story arc that sets up the next one. This next story arc is, okay, let's take the first act against the Empire. Let's attack them where it counts, their money and their guns.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll see in the next episode when it actually takes effect.
Yeah, or at least get started.
Yes.
And probably everything goes wrong.
Yes, and then the third one will have the payoff of everything. But what do you think of this episode?
Oh man, it's so good. There were so many moments because I mean, there's the whole Cassian thing going through, but then we're also seeing Cyril's cut, like him being cast out or whatever, like him being fired. He's demoted at least.
So
fired.
We've got 3 story arcs set up here.
Yeah.
We've got Stellan and Mon Mothma.
Yeah, Mon Mothma's probably more.
Yeah, so those will be the Imperial Senate type story arc of like way up at the top you have this story arc. And then secondarily, we have the whole Cyril thing, which attaches to it almost in the same way. We get like an understanding of how the politics or the inner company politics work in terms of how the Empire actually gets run and reports and different areas that people have control of up high level that they send out stormtroopers to take control of more so. And then we also get this third story arc, which is the Cassian stuff, which is the main underlying theme that all of these other pieces go on top of.
Yeah. That's kind of, we're all here for the Cassian story, but we're getting extra bits, with the other two. And it's just really interesting to see it. So bringing up those three plot lines, it's really cool to see that and get all these different positions. So we have high ups on like the beginnings of the rebellion.
Yeah.
And then we have kind of like middle grade of like the Empire, like the struggles with the Empire within itself, like just these people thinking that they're doing what is right, but also the consequences that they face and like what they're trying to accomplish and whatnot. And then we have this like gritty, grungy, bottom of the barrel resistance rising sort of thing. Really cool.
I'm caring for Cyril.
I know. Yeah, I know. Just seeing him get off this transport and like walking his little bags home, it's like, why do I care so much about you? Stop this.
How dare you make me care about you?
And it was so pretty. Oh my gosh. I was like, wow, this just feels so real. Like this is the most real that Star Wars has ever
Those
felt.
are all real locations.
Yeah.
The airport section is like a tech office space.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The apartment building complex is a place in London, which is pretty cool. Very,
Definitely
very
have seen
famous
before.
location. Let me see. It's called Brunswick Center. Very, very famous landmark in London, and has there's a few things that have been shot there. I think some parts of Blade Runner
at
least took inspiration from there. So like
we're still not away from the Blade Runner feel to this because I'm here for it. Give it to me. This
it's
is
so
like
real and tangible.
so good. Like you can taste it. It's so pretty and it's so
You can feel it. You can taste it. You can just like you get the whole experience. You're just enriched in Star Wars. It's so real that you could be there.
Even just like sitting around the campfire with all these, like you feel like you're there for some reason. I can smell the smoke. I don't know. It's just like
and it's still Star Wars at the same point. It's not like there's some weird places to be and it's like obviously it's shot on location, but no, that like they make the Scottish Highlands feel like Star Wars.
Feel like a different world.
Yes, they have all of these small pieces, the types of technology that they're using, the sounds, the feel, the closeness to the Empire, and just how you can kind of feel the ominence of it. Like there is a lot there that you can really just feel that it's Star Wars.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
like the look and feel of it, the locations, the acting, the different story arcs that they have, the whole thing with Luthen having this double life, and then when he's like getting into the garb of it,
loved that.
like he puts on a whole persona, like he practices it out, and he's just like, oh yeah, and then as soon as they get into the back room, it drops.
I loved that. Like I loved seeing him put on this new character because it's so real. Ooh. And that brings me to the gift that he gives Mon Mothma. With the two faces, it's like, oh my gosh, this is like everyone right now is two-faced. We've got
it's so
telling,
poetic,
storytelling
using these different pieces. The piece we don't really know where it's from, but it's these two forces of like one face and another face, and then they all make up another face. So it's like two halves that also make a completely different whole, and it's just so beautiful to see these illusions.
I just love how it alludes to everyone being two-faced. It's great.
And then another note too that just adds to Luthen's character. When he enters the town off of the ship, he's using a cane, and then when he gets on his own, he is not using the cane. He's so dedicated to having these different characters and these different personas that he knows when and where to use them, and also that they add to his legitimacy and furthering his disguise. See, he wants to be seen as an old man, a worn down man, incapable of doing anything. So he's got a cane to show other people that, hey man, I'm disabled and I'm just an old man. Don't mess with me. I'm not someone to really cause a ruckus or anything like that, or a ruckus. And then as soon as he's in the place that he needs to be, it's gone. That whole persona is gone.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's lots to pick at Luthen for, because man, that he's a good character.
Yes,
there's a lot going on. The acting in this show has got to be the best in Star Wars. I feel like we've been hearing that, and it's like, yeah,
easy.
I definitely agree.
Again, that's a low bar to reach, but they have very much surpassed that low bar.
That bar is a lot higher now.
Yes. Because Star Wars isn't really known for its fantastic acting.
Or its scripts.
It's infamous for its rough, around the edges dialogue and delivery. But this is the good stuff. This is like, people know what they're doing. They're given the tools that they're necessary to actually deliver these lines well. George Lucas never claimed to be a good director of people, and all of the Light and Magic documentary and another one that they had, they're all talking about how, yeah, George is a visionary, but he doesn't know, like he would just say, hey, you just do it this, or faster, more intense. Like that was, he didn't know, he knew what he wanted, but he didn't know how to tell the actors what he wanted.
He couldn't direct people.
But when they were happening, it's like, okay, that's it. Yeah. He couldn't direct people. Yeah. But he could direct the whole of it. He actually hated directing, but he was very specific and knew his world and wanted to have that there, which is why he did it in the first movie. Yeah. But really cool. Excited to see where it goes in the future, and hope you all enjoy these episodes as we dive deep into Andor and the secrets in each episode. As always, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, and on YouTube. Subscribe for free wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out the video feed as well. You can see clips from the show. You can see exclusive content that we made. Like last episode, we dove into the political side. It's got this really, really enticing title called "Is Star Wars Too Political?" And we dive deep into a topic that was implemented in our Discord and a discussion that we had with Zanyu, and just the idea of, hey, is Star Wars going too deep on the political side of things, and why we don't think that's necessarily true, and why it's really good that they're diving deep into that aspect of things. So check that out on the YouTube channel Star Wars Uplink for all the goodness there. As always, thanks for listening. May the Force be with you.